Hello, this is Darice. Welcome to Moonlifeastro. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you're returning. Today, I just wanted to talk about the eclipse season. It's officially over. The first one was September 7th. That was the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And then we had the new moon partial solar eclipse this past Sunday, the 21st in Virgo. And that eclipse harkened back to the first new moon in Virgo, which was August 22nd. So some of you may have noticed things that happened around that time that are now coming to fruition, maybe this weekend or this week. So that August new moon was the pre-season, the first 2 weeks leading up to the eclipse portal, that 2 week window. And then the Sunday closed that 2 week portal. And now we're in the final 2 weeks of the 6 weeks of eclipse season. And what that means is this is our time to reflect upon what happened in the last 4 weeks, what's come up, what's come to the surface. And now there'll maybe be some cleanup, some finalizing of things, or things moving to the next level. Personally, for me, at my day job, it was decided a couple weeks ago that we were going to be hiring 7 new people for our department. And so that was something that was completely unexpected. They're going to be moving people out of my department into other areas of the company. We don't know the details yet, but those details will probably come to the surface over the next week or two. And that's a classic example of how an eclipse season can work. Unfortunately, some of the other things that have happened are also things that can typically happen during eclipse season as well. I know of a couple of friends, family members, friends of family members who were going through some major health challenges. Some people, it's been expected that they may only have 3 to 6 months to live. Unfortunately, that is the sort of thing that can come to light during an eclipse season. And I also just wanted to talk about this time of year, fall. I used to work as a secretary for a psychiatrist, and September through December was always a really tough time of year, at least in the United States. I'm not sure if it's this way in other countries, but I always used to think, okay, as soon as the Jewish holidays start, that's when it really starts to happen, because we have Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, often in September, followed by Yom Kippur. Then right after that, it becomes Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas. And so people find themselves reflecting on this year. Often they start gearing up for when they're going to have to get together with family. And sometimes people have strained relationships with their family, strained relationships with friends. And it all starts to kick off in September. People start to think about, oh my God, I'm going to have to see that person at Thanksgiving. Oh, what am I going to do if I have to deal with this person at Christmas? People start thinking about how the year has been. They start thinking, oh my God, it's only 3 more months till the end of the year. I haven't done anything I said I was going to do for this year. And people start thinking about all the New Year's resolutions or the New Year's intentions, and they start beating themselves up. And people who do have mental health challenges, they feel all of that even more intensely. And so their issues would tend to intensify during this time of year. And so everyone who worked in that field, we would talk about how that was the busy season. And often I heard from funeral directors as well that this was typically their busy season as well. Because often people who have had major physical health crises, they want to try to live as long as possible. They're willing themselves to stay along to make it to that final holiday for the person. So often people who physically really only have the energy to be alive till say July or August of this year, they'll hang on to September, October, November, because they're trying to get to Christmas. They want to have that one final holiday with their family, and sometimes their body just gives out. They just can't do it. So this is often why you'll see an increase of funerals, memorial services, deaths during this time of year as well. And so I just wanted to say that this is also how eclipse season can unfold. What happens during eclipse season often has impacts for up to 6 months until the next eclipse series. And just because this particular eclipse it was at the final degree in Virgo. So it means there's a new beginning, a new cycle, something new is starting. Especially because right after this eclipse, we had the fall equinox. We're officially in a new season. And there's just a lot of anxiety, anticipation in the air. Some good things are happening for some people. Maybe some people got engaged during eclipse season. Maybe you found out you're expecting a baby. Good news like that could be happening as well. Um, but the main thing is there's a lot of transition happening. People are feeling the transition, and you may not know how it's going to unfold, how that's going to impact you in all these different areas of your life. You may be seeing it around the people in your own world, your business, your industry. And so for the healers, the light bringers, this could be a particularly intense time of year for you as well, as more people start reaching out to you, more people start coming to you for support. So really set up your systems to be sustainable for yourself. So I just wanted to bring that to the surface, remind you to take care of yourself. You can use these next 2 weeks to reflect on what's changed for you in the last 4 to 6 weeks, what changes that are on the horizon. And if you just simply have a feeling that a major change is coming, but you don't know what that is yet, that's typical as well for after an eclipse portal has closed. And like I said in my previous videos, where this was the final Pisces Virgo eclipse in that Pisces Virgo eclipse series. So the next series that kicks off will be Aquarius Leo, and that will begin February. So between now and the next 6 months, we're going to be starting a new 18 to 24 month cycle. And so you could also use that intentionally. Like, is there a pivot you want to make in your business over these next like 1 to 2 years? Begin reflecting on that, begin thinking about that, what that looks like. I'm also hoping, hopefully sometime in October, if I can get myself organized enough, I'd like to do like a sort of year ahead for 2026 as well, since I know a lot of you are already starting to plan your 2026 for your business and your projects and that sort of thing. So be on the lookout for that. And I just want to put that intention out there just as a reminder to myself to do that. And I also need to do it for myself as well. Um, but just be easy. Be easy with yourself, be easy with others. We're entering a time of year where emotions are normally heightened just because it is holiday season. Like I said, all of the unhealed stuff tends to come to the surface. People are starting to gear up for the challenging relationships that they know they're going to have to navigate over the next 2 to 3 months. So really support yourself, reach out to your support system, the therapists that you work with, the body workers that you work with, the energy healers. And if you are one of those people, make sure you get those services for yourself as well. Make sure you're taking the time to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. It's just as important that you fill your own cup before you fill others. And especially to the parents out there, it's incredibly demanding. And, there could be a lot of expectations from the kids about what they want at this time of year. And, be kind and gracious to yourself. Remind yourself that you're doing the best you can and that you're providing to the best of your ability. And whatever that is, as long as you're being as present as you can be when you're with your children. My happiest memories are not about the things that my parents gave me. It's about the time that they spent with me. Those are the memories that sustain me now as an adult, So, and a lot of times, yeah, I know kids in particular, they tend to want like the big fancy shiny thing because that's what they're being constantly marketed to. But if you can't afford that, that doesn't mean you still can't give your kids a great holiday season, because I know people are already starting to plan their Christmas shopping and that sort of thing. So look at ways that you can make what you have special, a special memory. When you can do that or have a fun game or outing with your children, that is a good memory. One of the things I loved doing was just picking out the Christmas tree with my family and decorating the tree. That's still my favorite part of Christmas, not all the stuff that my parents gave me. So I'm not sure who needed to hear that, but I felt like someone needed to hear that. And I do feel like also just in the collective, we're going to see a lot of things unfold over the world stage over the next couple of months. Things are probably going to get worse before they get better, unfortunately. Uh, but we're all going to do our best to stay grounded and to do our part to be a part of the solution, whatever that looks like. Um, just pick one thing, because there's so much coming at us. And I know, especially for a lot of the activists that are listening, there's only so much you can do in a day. So much of what's happening in the collective is designed for you to lose your center, to lose your sanity, to lose your space. And that's by design. They want to knock you out of your power. They want you to be paralyzed by fear and anxiety. And I am suggesting you to not give your power up in that way. And the easiest way that that has been for me is to pick one thing that I can do each week. I still call my representatives and tell them how I want them to vote. There's an app that I use that helps me do that. And that was the one thing I committed to. And even if I don't do it every week, just doing it at least most weeks of the year has helped me feel empowered. And it's a quick thing. It takes like 5 minutes. And it's something that's sustainable and easy for me to do. And so, that's just an example. And so I'm inviting people as this eclipse season closes, as you're feeling the transition, because we have upgraded spiritually, psychically. Our bodies are energetically changing as we go through this transition of becoming a new human being. And we need time and space to integrate that. Eclipses can also make people incredibly tired. So if you've been really tired or the last couple of weeks and didn't get as much done, that was probably the eclipse as well. So know that that energy will lift. You will have more physical energy coming back to you. And just simply ride the waves. Give yourself permission to feel what you feel when you need to feel it. We have to move through the grief, the rage, the anxiety that comes up as we go through all of these things, because it's been my experience that by actually feeling it, experiencing it, moving through it. And if you need someone to help you do that, definitely go through the therapists, the energy workers, the pastors, the people that can help you move through the difficult stuff. If you're recovering from major traumas, definitely find support to help you move through that. My experience is that when I have done that, that's how I alchemize it. That's how I'm able to move beyond it. That's how I'm able to get to a space of freedom, calm, and joy. It's why that now, despite all of the crazy things that are happening in the world, that I've never been happier. I've never been more at home in myself, who I am as a person. I feel like I have something to look forward to every day. I love supporting people through this channel. I love hanging out with my family and my friends. And I'm really enjoying just being alive and like just those everyday moments and how precious a gift that is. I am reminded of that and I have enormous gratitude for that. And that is what gives me joy. That is what sustains me. So, whatever that is for you, I'm encouraging you to find it and to keep seeking it. And if you already have it, to enjoy it and have gratitude for it. That's basically all I have today. I do also want to invite people to like this video. If you've received value from it, please subscribe to the channel. That helps me get the message out to more people. Please feel free to share this video if you think it will resonate with others. Please also feel free to join me in my online Skool community, Skool, also called Moonlife Astro, $9 a month or $50 for the year. I have a weekly Q&A where people have the opportunity to ask me questions and we can just talk about things. And mostly I just wanted to create a community for people to receive support and connection. And over the next few months, I'm going to be developing other things for that space as well. So I'm also looking for suggestions from people on what they'd like to see in the space. So if you can join us there, I would love for you to do that. Wishing you much love, peace, and joy. Easily yours, Darice.